Scan your past for small transgressions. Stare today.
Hey Jason,
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Let me just get my. Of course, as soon as I start getting on, my Zoom decides to update, and I'm like, oh, jeez.
It happens.
Always, every time, man. Joe's not on yet?
No, he's not joined yet.
Oh, interesting. He just texted me and said that he was hopping on. So, okay. How are you?
I'm doing good, Jason. It's a pleasure to meet you today.
Pleasure to meet you as well. Thanks for having us.
It's a big pleasure.
Yeah.
Great to be here.
Great.
Sorry.
I hope your Wi-Fi's okay, man.
No, it's whatever. I don't know. But I'm using my phone, so it works.
Oh,
We'll get through it.
okay.
Yeah.
How you doing, Keith? Great to be here. Thanks for having us.
It's a big pleasure, Joe, to have you and Jason today. And thanks for joining me today on this interview. And great guys, you guys have been doing awesome music over the years. And I want to thank you guys so much for giving your awesome support to the music and to the rock and metal fraternity around the world. So thanks for all the awesomeness.
Thank you.
So, so guys, your sixth full-length album, Impostor, was out last October 11th. So would you guys like to tell me a bit on the making of this album, the production, and the songwriting that goes behind the album?
Yeah, this was something we were gradually making over a 6-year period of time. I think I started writing for it at the end of 2018, and we started recording in 2019, and we would release singles as we wrote and recorded the music. And yeah, it's a different way to do it than just going into the studio and making the album right away. And we were juggling a lot of different projects and like at the time. So it took a while. We got it done eventually. So and during COVID, we were sending each other tracks and all working out of our home studios. So that usually takes longer as well, which is how a lot of bands do it now. So
Yeah. And then Joe and I started to kind of take the reins on writing together. And Joe is the lyricist, mostly, but musically we started to really join forces, and I think we really came up with something very good here with our collaboration, because this is the first record that I'm on. I've been with the band for a long time, but it was really the first record that we put together with me and the band, and I think our collaboration really helped step the band up, the music up another level.
I agree. Jason and I write really well together, and actually Jason was on our live record that came out in 23. So that was technically your first record. But yeah, it's been working with Jason. We're on the same page musically in a lot of ways, and Jason's like my brother. So yeah,
Absolutely.
Amazing, guys. And was there any particular concept that goes behind this album?
Well, there's a few different themes. Some of the stuff I write deals with personal life and challenges we all face. The Impostor talks about imposter syndrome. Some of it is social commentary, like Outrage Olympics, talks about cancel culture, observations about the world. Some of it is political, but not specifically tied to one side or the other. I kind of leave that to people's interpretation. So it's just my observations about the world and how it applies to my life, and hopefully people can relate to it.
Okay. And a fantastic cover art that goes behind this album, and a good old Pink Floyd kind of stuff that was like kind of difficult. I'm not saying exactly like Pink Floyd, but some kind of feeling that it gives me like the old time Pink Floyd album cover. So it's beautifully done, great art depiction. And has this cover art has something to do with the album? Is there a theme that synchronized with the album?
Well, the cover artist was Jason's wife, Jody Gianni, who did an incredible job, and we've had a lot of great compliments about the cover. And
She did it right. She did it right there at that computer, right there.
Oh,
Yeah. Actually, and this is the accompanying shirt for it.
Speaking of the cover, yeah, I should have worn the shirt.
We've been twins.
Represent. So, yeah, so I just gave her the title and the lyrics to the title track, Impostor, and she interpreted it in her own way. And we had the man kind of climbing up the corporate ladder to nowhere. There was a back cover that she created as well, which had these ladders going nowhere, and the surreal image of the earth and wandering the world and trying to find your place and not figuring out where you belong. And there's a lot of interpretive imagery based on the
Jody and I are both big fans, and Joe as well, are both big fans of Hugh Syme, who developed all the Rush records and Megadeth and those sort of like dystopian type of science fiction-y type of things. She we kind of had that in mind. I was like, I think I want to go with that direction, and I think she nailed it. I think it's great. It's beautiful, and thanks for bringing that up because that means a lot to me. So
still appreciate it. The other thing is the last Stratospheerius studio album was called Guilty of Innocence, and the cover art was drawn by my son when he was 7. It was a school project. It was like a kid drawing. It was kind of an ironic cover. So we went completely opposite album and wanted to do a real funny kind of sci-fi cover. And it's fun to really change things up and give people something to look at and try to interpret and figure out.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You guys got a nice family out there doing a lot of things for you guys.
Well, it always comes accompanied with an argument often. Like, do I have to do this? Okay, I'll do it.
I didn't even know that. So yeah, when I work with my wife, it's kind of weird, So we don't always work together. Separation of church and state, so to speak.
Yeah.
Cool, guys, cool. And speaking about the album, I would say it's beautifully done, amazing songs, the musical progression, everything. Bringing back the classic prog rock back into the scene. That's what I feel when I listen to the entire album. It's not like picking up one song from the album, listen to it. Not like that. It's from the start to the end. Beautifully done. Great work, like a proper prog rock album. So totally enjoyed each and every song from this album. I want to thank you guys so much for putting up an awesome album last year. And as a creator of the album, how do you guys feel about the outcome of this album?
I'll let Jason start. I always start.
Oh, I mean, we're both so happy. There's a lot of expectations when you go into doing a record and you don't know what the end result is going to be. Everything from the writing to are all the members going to agree on the arrangement to the mixing to even the artwork you were mentioning before, and I'm sure Joe will talk about this more, but when we got everything done, we started to get it mixed song by song by Rich Mauser. And Rich is the engineer for all of Spock's Beard, Neil Morris, Dream Theater, a lot of other different things. And unfortunately, he just lost his entire studio in the fires in LA here, which we were just heartbroken about. But Rich really it's kind of like we had ideas in our heads. We put them together and we're like, I think this is going to really work. Mixed it right and made it come to life, completely come to life. So for me, that was, of course, writing with Joe was the biggest deal, but really kind of getting to that end result with how it sounds sonically really brought it to life. And of course, yeah, like you were saying, like we didn't want to do a one-hit wonder type of thing. We wanted to kind of reach each song had a different end goal to it, whether to orchestrate it more, make it a little longer. Obviously, it's a progressive rock band, so we're not really doing a formulaic type of thing, I, for one, it's the best album I've ever been a part of, so I'm unbelievably happy.
Yeah, I think this is the album I'm proudest of. This is my 10th album that I've made. I've been making them for over 2 decades, and it's always a long process, and we really spilled our guts, put our heart and soul, every fiber of our beings into this project. And Rich really you're always chasing that sound as a musician, that sound in your head, and you never quite reach it. And I think Rich realized that and surpassed it because his musical intuition is so great, and he really gets what we're trying to do. And he's worked in that genre so much, you know. Also, from a critical standpoint, the response has been overwhelming from critics and fans, and we continue to get really good reviews from the record. So that just gives us a lot of validation for all the hard work we put into it. So I couldn't be happier and more grateful.
Fantastic, fantastic. And you have also released the official music video for Outrage Olympics. So would you like to tell me a bit on the making of this video and about this song in particular?
Yeah, well, Outrage Olympics, it's just, you know, raging against cancel culture and the fact that we live in a society where people are constantly monitoring each other and Big Brother is watching you, and you know, we're kind of, you could say or do something that could ruin your life, whether it's intentional or not. And that was really kind of getting under my skin, and it can apply to anybody really, no matter what side you're on. So in the video, it starts with a general idea. You see a lot of surveillance cameras, you see satellites in space, and then it goes to the microcosm of people kind of running. You know, we're running around and there's eyes on the walls chasing us, and there's images of eyeballs and cameras everywhere. And the overwhelming, it's kind of a dystopian surveillance state, and that's what the song addresses. And we filmed it the first day. We filmed in a great studio called Alpha Wave in Whippany, where we did a performance footage, and I created this backdrop footage of some of the things I mentioned, like the eyes and the cameras. And then we filmed the second day in a place called the Art Factory. It's this abandoned industrial building with a lot of cool spots. You know, it showed us running outside, and we interspersed the eyeballs chasing us and everything. So it was a really fun shoot, and people can see the video. If they go to YouTube and type in Outrage Olympics, you know, they'll find it. Or go to our website, stratosband.com. That's STRATOS band.com.
Fantastic. And coming to 2025, guys having big plans on touring in support of the album?
Well, my main priority is touring with the band Kansas. So once those dates get finalized, we're going to book some more dates regionally with Stratospheerius. We don't tour a lot with this band because of our different commitments, but we do shows mostly in the Northeast right now. So, you know, keep an eye out for announcements. There will be shows for sure.
Yeah, we're aiming to do more, you know, progressive rock festivals. We've been a part of Prague Stock for many years, and some other you know, ongoing progressive festivals. But that's what we're hoping in the future, given our different commitments, aiming more at like the bigger type of festival shows and playing with other progressive bands of our style, that sort of thing. So the full out touring thing is probably not going to happen for a little while, but that's kind of more our aim.
Interesting. And any plans getting back into the studio to write more new music?
Well, I think we're all writing a little bit right now.
Mm-hmm.
My New Year's resolution was to get back into writing mode. So I know Jason's working on some stuff. I'm working on some stuff, and you know, I'm really itching to do some new music. So hopefully that'll come together soon. You know.
I'm trying to convince Joe to do a concept album next, but I think he's ready to kill me.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Oh yeah,
I'm
not even sure if I showed you the first piece that I wrote, but we'll talk about it later.
Oh shit. Okay. It's getting real now. Wow. Okay. See, it's funny because Jason, he'll send me an idea, and that sometimes I'll have writer's block. I can't think of something. He'll trigger me, and then I go off on it. You know, hit the ground running. So it works that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know you both have a long career in music, and would you like to tell me how your musical journey has been with Stratospheerius in particular?
Well, I started the band when I moved to New York in 1997 to do my master's degree in Manhattan School of Music, and I made recorded a jazz fusion CD, an instrumental kind of Jean-Luc Ponty-esque CD with musicians from Cleveland, where I grew up. And I was looking for musicians in New York to play that music with me, you know, and which is challenging because I was like some kid, like nobody knew me, you know, so I had to make my way. And it eventually, I started writing more lyrics to the music because I loved writing songs and I always sang, and I wanted to integrate my love of electric violin with my love of songwriting and progressive rock and fusion and all that stuff. So it kind of morphed into what became Stratospheerius, and I wanted to create a vehicle to explore just musical things I was interested in that no one was really exploring or doing for me. I figured I got to make this playground myself, instead of waiting around for it to happen. And it just became a passion of mine, and I kept the band going through various lineup changes, and we kept touring and making records, and it's something I enjoy. And the rest of my life, I was freelancing as a violinist, doing Broadway shows and sessions and weddings and everything under the sun, And that continues to go on. When I joined Kansas, that became more my full-time job 2 years ago. So, but Stratospheerius will continue as much as it can. I would love for it to keep going. Response from a lot of people. So,
Yeah, Joe and I met through, well, it's kind of like this circle meets that circle kind of thing, and everything colliding. But the main circle we're in is under Mark Wood. Mark Wood is one of the most famous electric violinists in the world. Started the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and I was working with TSO for a little while. Mark and I hooked up, and then Joe was doing Mark's camp over the summer. In the middle of the summer, we always do a week-long string rock orchestra camp. Yeah, Joe's disappearing from it, and we met through that. But it so happens that the guitar player in my band, Daredevil Squadron, which was sort of a side project of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Aurelian Bedinek, was Joe's guitar player in Stratospheerius. And Aurelian said to me, "Would you ever think of playing with Joe's band, maybe even as a sub?" And I said, "I don't even know Joe had a band." And then, sure enough, we were introduced, and the rest is history. And he's about to show a violin.
Speaking of Mark makes these violins. This is the main electric violin I play with Stratospheerius in Kansas. It's a 7-string fretted violin called a Viper, and this is the second one I have. And the smoke is from the opening sequence of Breaking Bad. It's a custom paint job.
I didn't know that.
Cool. I thought you knew. So it's my favorite show. Mark Wood, he has a rock orchestra camp in Olathe, Kansas. I've been teaching there for 15 years, and Jason is his drummer. So I met Jason through both Mark and Aurelian. And as my previous drummer, Luciana, got busier, I started inviting Jason to play with Stratospheerius, and he was a perfect fit. And it just really clicked. The rest is history.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And would you guys like to share some of the highlights over the years? I know there's a lot of highlight moments over the years, but is there something special that you guys have that you want to share with me today?
Special moments, highlight moments?
Yeah.
Well, I would say playing at Progstock in 2021. It's a great festival in the biggest progressive rock festival in the Northeast. That's where we recorded our 2023 live double album, CD, DVD. And when we played in 21, we were still coming out of the pandemic. It wasn't a lot of people in the audience. People were watching virtually. But Eddie Jobson and his son showed up, and Eddie came backstage and told me how much he loved the performance. And Eddie's a hero of mine. Great violinist, keyboardist, played with Zappa and UK and Roxy Music. So when someone like that, or when Michael Sadler from Saga heard us play in 2018 and was blown away by the band, when someone you look up to praises your work, that's amazing. That's the greatest feeling in the world, right? Someone you listen to all your life. So
yeah, that's probably that's probably my big one, because Saga, I'm a big Saga fan growing up. And you lived in Canada, so you should know Saga pretty well over there. And I when Michael wanted to do a song with us, and then when we finally sent out the paperwork with the song the writing of the song, who wrote the song, and it was myself, Joe, and Michael Sadler on the same song. it was kind of a shock to my system. That was a, a reality check, you know. But you know, for me, it's just really
Wow.
honestly is putting this record out and seeing it come to fruition. All the work we put into it. You know, we lived with these songs a lot longer than other people did. So, you know, hearing it all in one, you know, one big great pile, and with the artwork and with this and with that and sound and everything, to me is like has been just so rewarding.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
it came together in such a great way, and it was you never know how people are going to react when you're sitting on something for so long and people haven't heard it yet. So it's the greatest feeling when you get these reviews and this feedback from fans. There's nothing like it. It makes me want to keep doing it. That's
Yeah.
it. It's very addictive, you know.
Very-
Um, so speaking of Michael Sadler, the song that Jason is referring to is called Storm Surge. It's on the record. So if people hear the record, it's the fifth track, I think, or the fourth track. Um, yeah, one of our favorite songs on the album, for sure.
Absolutely.
Fantastic, fantastic. And what would be some of the plans apart from the touring you spoke about for 2025? Or you guys have some big plans for Stratospheerius or on the other projects that you guys working on?
Well, we're gonna, like I said, we're starting to write for the next record. I'm writing as well for potential Kansas record if that happens, and I have an electric violin concerto I want to start recording. So I'm between all those things and my travel. That's already a pretty full plate, I think, you know. And
Yeah.
yeah, we're just gonna keep going and keep rocking out.
For me,
Thank you.
you know, you know, I don't think we are nearly done promoting this record yet, you know, and we kind of have passed the first stage of the promotion, but I really feel like there's this big second stage that we have yet to either experience or even just push. And I'm excited for that to happen. And for me, that's a big part of what we're going to do in the early part of 2025 with Stratospheerius is just keep riding on this and pushing it to the people and getting into the hands of the people that really we really like it to be in, you know. But like Joe said, all the while writing and pushing for the next stage after this.
Amazing, amazing. And speaking about you guys, Joe being an electric violinist with his Broadway works, with time with Kansas, and a lot of long history of his music thing, and you, Jason, being an instructor of drums in New York City, and a lot of works that you've been done, and a great career for you. Have worked with some notable people in your past, and how do you guys find time to do a lot of things in your teaching side and from on your professional side? So how do you make all these things happen so easily?
You want me to
It's not.
start?
Go ahead, yeah. I don't want to always.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna read your mind and say it's not easy,
No, it's not.
but yeah. It's you know, my calendar is right next to me over here, and I still use. I'm proud to say I still use a paper calendar, not a phone calendar.
You're
But
the guy.
yeah. But it's really difficult. You know, there's always times that have possibilities of double bookings and you know, the word sub or substitute is an important thing in our lives because we need people to back us up when you know emergencies happen. There was an emergency over the weekend that I had to play for with Joe. Hint, hint. And I had to move
You
some.
played with
All
you
right,
played with
yeah.
Kansas.
Play with Kansas this weekend, and it
Yeah.
was absolutely wonderful. But I had to move a lot of things around for that to happen, which is fine because I've kind of um, guided my schedule in these past couple of months for that to happen. You know, you kind of set it up for that to happen, and it's never easy. You have to kind of rock the boat a little bit, but it's not like if you don't do the work to really, you know, pad that foundation ahead of time, well, then yeah, things collapse, and you don't want that to happen. You know, but yeah, just you know, keeping a fresh mind, getting a lot of rest, as much rest as possible, and being able to step in any position whenever you're ready is really the key, to being successful there.
I would agree with Jason. For me right now, I have two kids, and my wife has her career. She's a violinist with the New York Philharmonic. So, the first half of the week I'm in town. So I usually get up and take the kids to school, make breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then second half of the week, my wife, sometimes she brings them to her concerts and they hang out backstage or do homework or watch the concert. So we're juggling parenthood and careers. And, so that's a big challenge because I'm out of town half the week, almost every week. And I just try to really budget my time and focus on the priorities for each day as far as, creative, carve out time to be creative and work on my projects and move them forward. But it does take longer because we don't have the luxury of just sitting all day in the studio every day and just working on our stuff. So we just have to squeeze it in whenever we can. I also use, when we're on the road, when we're traveling, I'll do some writing or editing or mixing or whatever it is I need to do while I'm sitting in the car during those long hours going between towns. So, I like being active. I'm not a very kind of stationary person. I'm always thinking of something to do.
So a lot of the things we do, thankfully, have a lot of warning ahead of them. If either one of us have to play a Broadway show, it's usually, not always, but usually, 3 weeks in advance, 4 weeks in advance. If we book another show besides a Kansas show or a Stratospheerius show, it's something that comes up, 2 months in advance, things like that. So it's not always that way and it's not always easy, but the higher percentage of the time we're able to juggle a lot of stuff just because we can, balance a calendar and just give, to each respective person that we work with, we say, all right, these are our unavailable dates, these are our available dates, and you just try to be as respectful and keep to your plan as much as possible. You also try, as hard as it is, you also try to keep sort of the unwritten rule steady with, like, whatever comes to you first, you have to commit to, right? So if I get a gig with so-and-so and something comes up for Stratospheerius, I have to say, guys, I can't do this. I really am tied down to, whatever that might be. So it's a juggling act for sure, but it usually comes with planning ahead of time.
Very good. And I know a lot of hard work that has gone behind from the childhood, and there have been a lot of big dreams as we grow up. So, do you guys feel like you are living the dream, or you have everything that has been fulfilled for you through the music that you have created so far?
I would say yes. I can honestly say I'm living the dream and count my blessings every day. But it's important not to rest on laurels and to always stay hungry and stay humble and always feel like you have something to learn from everyone around you and to always have goals and projects and new things you want to do. I always try to live life that way, and but I appreciate everything that I have, and I worked really hard for it.
Beautiful.
I think in this day and age, you have to also be careful of that and understand that the dream definition has changed, and that nothing is permanent, and whether it's your position with that or whether even just the band you're working with or the project you're working with, whatever it might be, could change at any moment. It's not as solid of a foundation as things used to be so many years ago because of how much the music business has changed, right? So you have to, like Joe said, like, not rest on your laurels. You have to treat every situation as professionally and as humble as you can, because tomorrow could be gone, and in my position, subbing for Kansas, it's the most wonderful experience in the world, and it's the worst experience in the world because I go home and I can't continue it. So it's sort of a strange. There's always balancing acts that we deal with, always, in every situation. So you have to really just, like, enjoy every minute, but also treat it professionally and be very focused and understand that it's not always there for you.
I also want to add that, you know, I don't know how long, you know, Kansas will exist, and I always keep all my contacts, and I still do freelance work when I'm home and take gigs and do sessions and teach and do all the other stuff, because, you know, I don't know if how many years I'll enjoy this ride, and I want to stay. Also, it keeps me in shape to play other music mentally and to maintain those relationships. You know, all of that. So it's important to basically treat every project as something that's not permanent, and to always kind of stay on your toes and be ready for the next thing. Echoing what Jason said, you know.
Okay. And how do you guys feel working with Kansas, being a phenomenal band? So how do you guys feel about working with them and the future of the band?
It's an amazing organization. It's just lovely people, both, you know, everyone in the band and everyone in the crew and the management. I couldn't ask for a better situation. And, you know, the management wants us to keep working as much as we can. So we just finished the 50th anniversary tour in December, which lasted for 18 months. We're starting a new string of shows for 2025. We have a tour with 38 Special, and we're doing a cruise with Jefferson Starship called the Rock and Romance Cruise in March. And we have other tour dates, casino dates. I hope we write a new album. I don't know when that's going to happen or if it's going to happen, but it's been a great experience so far, you know. And they really everyone in the band and crew looks out for each other. It's like a family, I would say, and that's not always the case. Jason has witnessed it, you know.
Amazing people, amazing. Everyone is great. Yeah.
And the fans have been great too, because I was nervous going into it, having to fill the shoes of two great players and a history of 50 years. So there was that pressure. I was like, how are people going to react? And 99% have been very welcoming and warm and gracious. So that was a big relief for me. You know?
Absolutely.
And Joe and Jason, finally, any message that you have for the fans around the world?
I would just say thank you, and, you know, keep supporting original music. And if you like something, don't just listen to it on Spotify. Go download, go to Bandcamp and support artists. Go out to concerts. Go to as many concerts as you can. These are challenging times, you know, for artists. So if you really love something, go out and support it. You know.
Yeah, and continue to help spread the word too. You know, we're living in a world of social media where everything is about catching fire, and, you know, you can only do so much to promote yourself, you know. So for the people who do listen to this, who really do like the record, not only do we thank them, but in a way we also ask them for a favor to turn a friend onto it, turn a family member onto it, you know, get on as many progressive sites as you possibly can and promote it and say this is a really special record. And because if it doesn't get in the hands of people, then, you know, we've made it for people. We've made it to say, hey, this is really special. This is something that we feel you really would find special to you the way we do. And if you don't promote it, help promote it, nobody hears it, you know. So thankfully a lot of people have heard it, and we've gotten amazing reviews, which is like, knock on wood, great, you know. But help keeping it going.
Beautiful, guys. And Joe and Jason, I want to thank you both so much for giving me today this wonderful opportunity to have you both on the show. And I'm really honored to speak with you guys. And I want to thank you so much for putting up an awesome album, Impostor, last year. Like I said earlier, a fantastic album. I'm totally loving it from the start to the end. There is not even anything that you can miss out. It's an album that you have to listen for years, and it's a great gift for the prog rock fans around the world. And I hope a lot of people will start listening to the music and fall in love with the music. And thanks for all the awesomeness. And really hoping to talk to you guys again soon with another record. And I wish you guys all the best.
Thanks so much, Keith. And your words mean a lot to us. So really appreciate what you said.
Absolutely, Keith. Yeah, this was a pleasure, and anything we can do for you, just let us know. And hello to all of your fans too.
Yes. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.
Listening.
Take care, guys, and have a good day ahead. Bye-bye.
Okay, Keith. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye-bye, buddy.
Bye.